a lot of people ask me about scaling. I'm like, it's not about scaling. It's about customer client satisfaction. It's about that one-on-one, the community building, the feeling that, oh, this outfit is just for me and there's nothing like this anywhere else in the world. You can't get that feeling with fast fashion.
Welcome to the Business Mindset Podcast, where we document the stories of Black entrepreneurs around Canada. I am your host, Nina Barango, and together we will explore the world of entrepreneurship through the journeys of our incredible guests. Let's get started. And today on the pod, I have Ayanfe. Hi. Do you want to introduce yourself? Tell us a bit about you.
Yeah. Okay. So we already know that my name is Ayanfe.
Yeah.
That has been established. I'm many things. I almost don't know where to start from. But I'm a crochet designer, as we can see.
I love it.
Thank you. I'm also a filmmaker and a content creator. I create like wholesome and authentic content for various social media platforms, just sharing my story and occasionally sharing other people's stories. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Which one came first, crochet, film, or content?
What came first? I think crochet, because I've been crocheting for so long. I learned how to crochet when I was about 8. So it's been, a long time hobby. And then film came somewhere around like 12. And then the both of them have just been fighting for my time ever since.
Isn't that adulthood?
Yeah.
But you know what? Like, I remember like growing up in Nigeria, and like crocheting was such a thing. Like, it was a flex. Like, we would have like our crochet bags that would have all our wool, yarn, whatever you call it. With especially the ones that could do the two.
Oh, the knitting. Yeah.
The knitting.
Yeah.
Sorry. Do you know what? I don't even know the difference between both. But I
knitting
started
is the one with 2 pins.
So I started with the crochet pin.
Yeah.
Then I learned the knitting, and me and my mom actually used to knit together.
That's so
So she would
cute.
make these like quilts, all these
Oh.
but over time, obviously, capitalism here and there.
It's
But
capitalism.
it's interesting. Tell me a bit about your journey with crocheting.
Okay, so I learned how to crochet from my grandmother. She used to crochet all the time, and I spent so much time with her that eventually I just picked it up. Like, I asked her to teach me, and because I've watched her so long crocheting, it kind of just stuck to me. And I always say crocheting is addictive. I don't know if like when you were crocheting, I don't know if you had that experience, but for me, when I start a project, I cannot stop. I just need to keep going.
Yeah.
And I just have like tunnel vision, and I can't think of anything else until that project is finished. So I feel like that's why I've been able to crochet for so long. Like I mentioned, I learned how to crochet when I was like 8, and yeah, it's been a while. Love it though.
But I feel like there was a point in like recent years where crocheting became like crocheted outfits, I should say, became a trend. I don't know, I spend a lot of time on Twitter, so like my views are already somehow, do you get? But I started seeing a lot of people wearing more and more crocheted outfit, and I was just thinking to myself, like, this is something we used to do back in the day, as like we'll make like hair scrunchies.
Yeah.
At least that's where I started learning hair scrunchies, then maybe the blankets. But a lot of times people didn't know how to sew, so they couldn't actually make outfits.
Yeah.
So like, did you have to learn sewing separately to make the outfits, or like, no?
It's actually 2 very different things, like
Really?
the art of crocheting and the art of sewing.
Okay.
Because I thought that like I actually went to fashion school to learn how to
When was
sew,
this?
and this was like 5-6 years ago now. But I dropped out twice. I went to 2 different ones. And I just couldn't keep up because I had so many other things going on in my life. But then I quickly realized that the art of sewing is so different from crochet. Like, putting together an outfit with crochet is a whole different ball game than sewing, because I think you have a little bit more flexibility with sewing, because you can cut pieces, join them together, but with crochet you can't cut it. So you just have to figure out how to structure the piece to just go in the way you want it to flow without actually cutting and joining and stuff like that. So it's just a whole different ball game, and it's something that I've had to figure out on myself through trial and error and a lot of YouTube, obviously.
Okay, so sorry, so this is actually the first time that I'm hearing that is different, because I just assumed that for someone to make a crochet outfit, let's say you're making a shirt, you crochet one side, crochet the other side, then you sew it as per like the crocheted thing becomes the fabric.
No.
That you... Oh, okay. Well,
I don't even own a sewing machine, if that gives you more perspective.
It's confusing me some more. So how do you... So this outfit you're wearing, because you make crocheted outfits for both men and women, right?
Yeah.
This one you're wearing now, how did you make it? Because it's like not straight cut.
Yeah.
Do you get, like, how are you able to...
Okay, we're going to decompose my outfit.
Yes, actually, because now I need to actually understand it. That's my problem now.
Okay, so we have a 2-piece set here.
Yeah.
So obviously I started with the top. It doesn't matter what you start with, but I started with the top, and I kind of did like a straight panel like this, like a rectangular panel.
Right.
And then because I wanted the asymmetrical, I then started reducing on this end. So instead of going completely straight, I then started reducing on one end, so it would turn in this way. And then when it got to the point where I was okay with the width, then I just went straight like rectangle again up onto the back. Does that make sense?
It's giving us architecture.
It takes honestly, crochet has so much math you wouldn't imagine, because you have to count the pieces and make sure like it matches with the measurement. And sometimes I'm like, oh, maybe I should have paid attention in math class.
Because, like, do you know what? Like, because I see a lot of the nice crochet outfits, I'm like, oh, this is like... Obviously, I was like, this person must have been very talented to create this. But I just assumed that the talent stopped at some point and they just used a machine to like bring everything together.
I mean, it depends on what industry you're looking at, because I know fast fashion has been coming up with their own version of crochet, and I can tell you that is not crochet, because it's not completely handmade. It's sewn at some point, definitely. It's cut and joined, and I don't know how they do it, but they do it some way.
Okay, so a crocheted outfit has to be 100%.
It is 100% handmade. The moment you start doing the whole, I don't know what they're doing there, it's not crochet anymore, and it pisses me off. But let's not talk about it.
No, actually, let's talk about it, because my problem with fast fashion, and by fast fashion, I'm mostly referring to like the machine and all them is that like they're always trying to copy the final result, right? But they don't have the sauce, like, and so it always ends up looking a bit tacky, especially when it's like unique pieces. Like, I'm not talking about like, when Steve Madden does a dupe of the popular sandals. Like, I'm talking about like when you're trying to recreate something that took somebody hours to make in less, because like I guess that's what capitalism does. Like, you have to scale, you have to mass produce, you have to meet all your customers' demands. And you know what, I was actually watching like a pitch show where like a small business went to go and pitch, and then they were like, oh, how do you plan to meet customer demand? And the person was trying to explain that like, oh, I make everything myself, and they were just like, you would never like survive. And she was like, actually, I've survived for this amount of years. And they were shocked, because I feel like, especially in the fashion world, everybody has just come to believe that if you're not able to mass produce, if you're not able to do it to meet like fast changing trends, then there's no point. How have you navigated that?
Honestly, I've had that exact conversation with so many people, and at first it used to annoy me, but now I'm just really patient and I take my time to educate people, because at the end of the day, there's so many different business models, and I'm not going to discredit another person's business model in the name of making mine sound more
noble.
Exactly. But I'm just going to explain what I see the vision for Estivaux. It's a lot of people ask me about scaling, and I'm like, it's not about scaling. It's about client satisfaction. It's about that one-on-one, the community building, the feeling that, oh, this outfit is just for me and there's nothing like this anywhere else in the world. You can't get that feeling with fast fashion, right? So at the end of the day, these different businesses satisfy different needs for different types of people that exist, if that makes sense. So the goal for Estivaux is to provide this unique custom look that you can't get anywhere. You walk into a room confidently knowing that there's no one else wearing the same piece as you. You're going to have, you know, this one-on-one with your designer where you can tweak things as much as you want to make sure that you feel the most confident, most comfortable in the outfit. And that's not something you can get anywhere. So at the end of the day, when people are telling me, oh, you can't scale doing this, you can't expand doing this, I'm like, okay, those are not my business goals. Have you read our values? Because if you had, you wouldn't be asking me these questions, right? So yeah, perspective is important, but to each their own at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think a lot of people struggle when someone, especially a small business, fails to conform to the set standards, the set way of doing things. You see it, and a lot of times in a situation where the business owner, unlike you, doesn't have strong values to say, this is my why, this is why I'm doing this, then they end up going with the trends or going with what people say. But like something that has really stuck to me is just that, like, not everybody was given the vision for your business. You're the only one, at least, that received that vision to execute through your business. And so expecting everyone to understand where you're coming from is kind of a high ask. And so, however, it's also important to like not necessarily let people project their scarcity mindset or their lack of foresight, or quite frankly their misunderstanding of your vision. And it's not right to let that derail you from your path. However, it's business.
It is business.
At the end of the day, numbers matter. Money in the bank is important. Building, staying relevant, sustainability. How have you been able to handle that so far?
I think this is a question that I've been asking myself a lot lately, because for the most part, it's a one-person business where I'm doing everything, handling the customer service, handling the marketing, and also producing the outfits, doing the consultations. And I find that in the last 2 to 3, in fact, like 6 months, I've had to like decline orders just because I'm overwhelmed with the amount of things that I can take on at a time. So now I'm thinking more in the sense of expansion, but not expansion in the way that most people would think it. Like, I'm not about to start mass producing. It's just about getting extra hands to help me. So perhaps getting someone to help with marketing so I can focus more on actually designing and putting together the pieces, and also onboarding like a crochet intern that can help with like the smaller design, so I can focus more on the grand scheme of the business. So just getting extra hands here and there to help put things in place. And then with the way my business model is built, it's one client, like the money I get, I know like it's business, so we have to talk about money, right? So the amount of money that I'm making from one client is probably what a fast fashion business is making from like 5 exactly, right? So at the end of the day, it's not about the quantity of what I'm able to put out there, but instead the quality, because these people would come back for more. And I literally have people that are willing to wait weeks, months just to get pieces from me. I have people reaching out months before they even need their piece, because they know the time that takes into making the outfit. So it's about building those relationships, so at the end of the day, people are willing to conform to the unconventional business model that I have going, you know? So yeah.
Do you know what I actually realized? 2 things I realized. First of all, we didn't really explore your journey before you got to where you are now. And secondly, when you were talking about expanding your team, as my business has grown, I've realized that the one thing I hate to do is customer service. I cannot stand it. However, as like a one man, actually a 2-man team, I've just found that like I just feel like I have to do it by myself, if that makes sense. Because like in my head, I'm like, ugh, the time it would take to bring someone in
and teach
them. In fact, maybe they will keep coming back to me every time they get like a new email. Oh, Nina, how do I like reply to this? And I'm just like, by the time that's even customer service for me and you, now I have to now teach you to teach them. And I'm just like, I wish all this AI, I don't know why we haven't gotten to a point where I can just say, okay, you AI, read my mind. And then because the thoughts in my head, they're already somehow. If you were to just type it out verbatim, I'll probably be out of business. Do you guys read my mind and put it in a diplomatic way and do my customer service? But before we talk about expanding your team and building, let's go back to when you decided to launch the brand. Estivaux. That's French.
It is French.
What does it mean?
It means summer.
Summer. Okay.
Yeah. So the full name is Estivaux Essence, so summer essence.
Oh, okay. I love that. Is it because like most people wear crochet outfits in the summer?
I like to go with that definition, but that wasn't the thought.
It was just on vibes.
It was just on vibes.
Okay. It's giving one of those people that get those tattoos in Japanese
and they don't know the meaning,
and they don't know, and then they just like add something deep to it and say, oh, like the sun was rising or something, and then in their culture or something. But okay. The essence of summer essence. Why did you, or when did you decide to launch this business, and why?
Interesting story. So at the point that I launched Estivaux, that was 2019. I had been crocheting for I think about I don't know numbers off the top of my head, but let's say like
a while.
8 years at that point. And I realized that there was a demand for this little hobby that I had. So I had friends saying, oh, can you make this cute little Pinterest stuff for me? Or I had like a teacher that just had a baby saying, oh, can you make baby booties for me? And people would see my work and bring more things like, oh, can you make this? Can you make this? So I realized that there was a demand. But before that, it was just me making cute things for myself. Like I made like a cute crop top, cute shirts and things like that. And when I realized that there was a demand, it was a business before I even realized it, because people were paying me to make these things. At the time, I was so young, I didn't realize that I was doing business, but really I was. And then at a point, I decided to start officially, even though I still didn't understand what business was because I was so young. But I just knew that people wanted what I was offering. So I'm like, okay, I might as well start it. So I remember the first official launch was like a photo shoot, and I was one of the models. And I had 2 other friends. Well, yeah, let's call them friends.
Hope these are not acquaintances or frenemies.
Friends.
Okay, let's go with that.
Let's go with friends. Yeah, I had them wear like cute little crop tops. We went to a river. Because at the time where I lived, there was no like, I wanted something like with water and whatnot, but there was no beach. I lived in Ibadan. I grew up in Ibadan.
Oh, okay.
We didn't have a beach,
right?
but we had a river. So I went to the river.
That Ibadan is the countryside of Lagos. I don't know what we're up to in that side, but
we're up to something.
Okay.
We have a river.
You have a river.
I went there.
Okay.
We had my shoot. It was nice. There was a lot of like traffic around the shoot, majorly because I was so young and doing something, and people just liked the idea of someone young starting something. So there was a lot of support from the community there. And so the shoot was just the beginning of everything. I launched on social media. I had no idea what I was doing, but I knew I was doing something.
Okay. And so you launched in Ibadan, but you're in Canada now. How was that transition, like going from a Nigerian audience to maybe Nigerians in diaspora?
Yeah.
Or maybe even Caucasians?
It's been a shift. It's been a very dynamic change.
Okay.
And honestly, I was just taking it one day at a time, because my major issue when I first moved here was the fact that my social media was like is still my main point of contact with a lot of like my clients, but then a lot of my audience was like 90% Nigerians.
Right.
So how am I going to reach? I'm trying to reach Canadians because shipping to Nigeria is so expensive, and the exchange rate doesn't really help things, if that makes sense. So it was just like the first question I had to ask myself was, how do I convert my audience from being 90% Nigerians to being at least Nigerians in diaspora in general? And so how I went about that was by collaborating. That was the biggest thing I say that helped me. Is like, you can't do things on your own.
That's true.
So I reached out to a few, actually one content creator, Tanto. Do you know Tanto?
I know Tanto, baby, don't stop. Shout out to Tanto, man. Like,
yeah, so Tanto was the first content creator that I worked with, and she has a very, very supportive community, very huge community, and I feel like that collaboration really opened a lot of doors for me. And then from that I was able to tap into her market, and then once again it spread like wildfire. People see the designs, oh, who made that for you? Someone post, the power of social media, you know, and just kept on expanding and expanding. And now I look at my audience and I'm seeing a nice balance. And I noticed something in the last couple months is that most of my clients are actually in the US now, which is crazy because I'm in Canada, but you know,
one thing about the US girl is they always love to look good. They always love to shop unique stuff. I've just found that a lot of like slow fashion brands that are able to successfully capture the US market do so well because like those girls, they're patient, they have money, and they love to look good.
Another thing is like the exchange rate favors them because they're spending less here, even plus shipping. So they'd rather shop Canadian brands than American brands. So yeah, I'm really trying to like focus on the US now because that's bringing in the dollars.
Okay, don't forget us over here, Sha. Because funny enough, like I think the first time I found out about your brand was when Tanto and Remy did the vacation outfits, and I was like, huh. Like prior to that, like I hadn't really seen a lot of people styling crochet outfits, maybe here and there, maybe bikini, all this cheeky stuff. But like, and then I saw them style that, especially seeing it on Tanto, because like I followed her because of like seeing myself also like body representation as well, and seeing her style that I was like, huh, who is the person that's up to this? And then I went down a rabbit hole, and the rest is history. But I definitely agree with you in terms of tapping into someone else's community, especially when you're both growing together, because I've seen you and Tanto now grow together, like grow your partnerships, in terms of how you collab pieces and market stuff, and now it's become bigger than where you were starting.
For sure.
So I personally, I love to collaborate because I just feel like a lot of times I feel like people are always like reaching for the person up there that will help them, Somebody, I was listening to this podcast the other day, and the person was saying that she'd sent a lot of her stuff to like influencers with like 500k followers, 1M, and like
nothing.
We wouldn't get much. Maybe they'll post it. They'll post it or like, but like not much. But then she would send it to like her peers or like other people that were starting out, and they had this niche community. And then she would get orders and orders and orders. And then she realized quickly that like it's not actually about climbing vertically in the sense of getting someone at the top to help bring you up, but sometimes you can pull each other up together and actually collaborate with people that resonates with your brand, your audience, like who you're trying to reach. So long story short, great idea.
And now I'm collaborating with Rennie again to launch Eto Mens. So I'm all about collaborations, honestly.
Rennie Fresh.
Yes,
Rennie
Fresh.
There's just a lot of Rennies now. So like, okay, that's cool. So you're launching a male collection this year.
The first ever.
Why?
Yeah. It's all about the demand,
Okay.
So for the longest time, I've had guys come saying, oh, you don't have anything for the guys. And honestly, I love the men, but for the longest time, Estivaux has been a woman-centered brand, and that has been my focus for the longest time. But now I'm just thinking, Okay, the men design nice things too. So let's give them a taste of Estivaux. So yeah, I'm launching Estivaux Men soon.
I love the fact that you were not like, oh,
I'm not giving a date because
I'm not giving a date. Nobody should pressure me. One thing about men, they'll always be jealous. Shout out to them though, because like they're always feeling left out and all of that, wanting me to be part of the fun. But have you ever had someone come to you with like, oh, Ayanfe, I want you to create me this crochet style or something. I saw one the other day. I don't even know. I can't even begin to describe the design. I just thought to myself, when God was really sharing talents to people, like, okay, you'll be able to create this kind of thing. I was probably eating puff somewhere. But have you ever had someone come to you and just say like, oh, I want this design, but it's something that you've never done before, like something you've never even tried or thought of? Like,
I feel like I get that at least once every month.
Really?
And those are usually my most in demand pieces, like when I post them. And at first I'm scared to take, at first, like when I get orders like that, I'm very scared, but I'm learning to let go of that fear, because I find that when I push myself with those outlandish designs, it's when I really discover how much more I can do. I've gotten so much of that have now become bestsellers,
Right.
and it took me like weeks, months to perfect it. But like I said, my clients are willing to be patient with me to make sure they're getting the best quality, right? So I really do appreciate their patience with the first person that reaches out to the design. But then after I'm able to figure things out, it always comes out so beautiful, and I'm always just so proud of myself.
Wait, so what you're telling me now is that some of the things you've created, it took you months to finish?
Yeah.
Okay, as per like no, like the outfits.
Yes.
It took you months.
Well, maybe months is a stretch. Like a month, like a couple months, like not 10 months.
No. Even a couple months is where I'm at. Like,
because the thing is, I might have to like loosen. Because the thing about crochet, like I mentioned, you can't cut and like mend and stuff like that. So if you make a mistake, you're literally unraveling everything. It's going back from this beautiful piece to a strand of yarn.
Okay, because that's where I would just be like,
Give up.
Sorry. Personally, I just like to just, life is already hard. Not to say, oh, don't follow your passion, but like, what do you mean unravel the whole thing back to a strand?
Yeah.
I would just say, sorry, unfortunately, this
I can't do this anymore. But you already have the money, so
no. That's the kind of
deposit.
money that I will give you back. I cannot swallow that kind of money, because like, personally, I just think of myself like getting frustrated. First of all, let's say you've unraveled once. You unravel the second time, you say, okay, fine, perfection and all that. But the fifth unraveling, okay, sorry.
I like the challenge.
Really?
I've done like, I think the most I've unraveled like a whole piece is 5 times. At first it was long, then it was short, then it was long, then it was short again.
Well, I'll cancel the birthday.
But I was really dedicated with that dress. And then when I posted it, everyone was like, oh my God, I want one. And I'm like, guys, sorry, it's one of one. I'm kidding.
Because can you be serious? Okay.
No, I'm kidding. No, that was a joke.
But how do you balance this? Because there's sometimes customers make a lot of noise. They'll be like, oh, if you don't sell me this thing, I can faint. And then you bring it, and then they're like, actually, psych. Just kidding.
What do you mean,
Didn't
psych?
faint. Like, not like in terms of, not like, I guess in your case, it won't be like after you made the outfit. It'll be more so like, oh, hi, like, you told me you wanted this my birthday dress. Do you still want it? You can place an order for it, and then I'll make it. And then they'll be like, oh, sorry, just kidding. Or they'll probably not even respond. So there's that customer noise that's very popular these days on social media in particular. But then there's also genuine customer demand. And then there's also where you see your business going in terms of like fashion, styles, kind of clothes and wares you want to create. How do you balance all of that together to not only satisfy the customer but also not stray too far away from your vision?
Important word that you mentioned there, it's all about balance. You have to just find that balance between satisfying the client and not straying from from the vision. And I feel like a lot of the clients that do come to Estivaux are very much aligned with the values that I've already established. Like, these are people that have not found what they're looking for at regular stores. So they obviously understand that they need to go to a different business model to get that satisfaction that they truly crave. And I find that those people are more patient, and they're also more open to exploring ideas that I'm willing to share. And they're not so, what's the word? They're not like really obnoxious as people would imagine clients. My clients are actually the sweetest people that I've ever met.
Interesting.
They're honestly so sweet. I pitch something and they're like, yeah, I like the idea. Let's go with that. And so that way I'm still able to maintain my values, maintain the standards that I want my brand to represent while satisfying the clients, because they're just the sweetest, you know?
Oh, I love
the
that.
Estivaux girlies.
I really love that. Now that you're looking to expand into with a male line coming sometime this year or not.
Definitely this year.
How do you see Estivaux evolving as a brand?
Honestly, I'm just going to keep doing what I've been doing for the last 5 years, taking it one day at a time.
Okay.
Taking it one day at a time. But one thing that I'm really trying to prioritize now that I didn't do when I started the business is actually having conversations with the clients, having conversations with my target audience. So I'm not just creating for me. I'm creating for them as well. Because it was easy to create for women because, I'm a woman. But then with men, it's like, what goes on in their head? What are their wants? What are their desires?
Please, first of all, if you find out what goes on in a man's head, I think you should just write a book. You will solve at least the problems of your other audience, women, and you can just say Estivaux book.
Honestly, maybe we would have like an Estivaux podcast.
What goes on in the minds of men?
What actually goes on? But yeah, I'm just trying to have conversations with them, see what it is that they want in terms of style, just so I'm able to align as much as possible with that. We'll see how it goes.
No, that's great. I think like talking to your customers is a good way to avoid like having a blind spot. I find that especially with a lot of like creative entrepreneurs and creators, because you're also a creator on top of your crochet business and on top of school that you just finished. I was going to initially ask how you didn't run mad.
Who says I didn't?
Right. Actually, pardon my assumption. But I find that with a lot of creators, like, it's almost like a thing of, it's like a very thin line between like I don't want to say narcissism, but like we just like think like
it's all about us.
It's us.
Yeah.
Do you get, I'm a creator. Like, this thing wasn't there before I created it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like when you're now creating for other people, especially as an e-commerce business, especially as like when you even take it a bit further to like a customized thing that you're creating for people, it's not even about you at that point. If we're being honest, like, yes, your brand matters, yes, like that brand authenticity and stuff, but like it goes beyond that to like what the customer wants, because like you said, they've looked everywhere, they haven't found it, and so now they're coming to you to say this is what I want. And if you're still kind of like not speaking to your customer, so you don't even have an idea
of
where
what they're
coming
looking
from,
for, yeah,
and so then you just keep pushing like, no, like you should wear this, like I don't know, like I just think personally that's where a lot of creative businesses
do it wrong
by not listening to their target audience and actually having that open feedback,
or even giving them the opportunity to speak, because it's one thing to listen, but do they even have a platform to share their opinions, So these are the conversations we need to have.
Anyways, let me tell you what I think
men
want. Do you get? Food? Coming from a woman. Or actually, no, maybe let me tell you what I think men need. I don't care about what they want, because as you can see, I'm not the one doing the business, but I think what they need is like crochet hoochie shirts.
What?
No. In the summer when Toronto men come out, they're wearing those tanks with like the wide armpits.
I don't want to see a man in that.
No. Let me land.
Okay, I'm listening.
Imagine now a 2-piece crochet.
Yeah.
Do you get? And it's like basically like I don't want to call it what it's called, but let's just say a shower outfit for men, like tight and shorts.
We need to let it breathe.
No. That's the thing. These men have been walking around with their laps open. Let's just tighten it a bit.
Okay.
You know,
make it firm.
Give it a bit of bounce.
Yeah.
Do you guess? That's what I think men need.
I would take that up with my male clients.
No. You, like, this is the kind of thing that you have to trust me. Have I ever lied to you? By the time you give them that thing in crochet, imagine Caribana weekend now. All the men come out crochet bomb shots. Think about it. That I just feel like, personally, you can even name it after me. It's not like I'm trying to pitch myself or no. Just walk with me.
If I get cancelled for that, it will bounce back to you. Are you fine with that? If you're fine with it, then we're good to go.
Know what? Men love rubbish. They don't know that they need this thing yet, but I promise you. Have I ever lied to you?
Okay, would you bring a model that would wear it once I design it?
Is it hard to find a man that is into slutty things in Toronto? This is Toronto. All you just have to do is go downtown. This is Toronto. I think personally, that kind of thing will go viral.
Okay.
That kind of thing. They'll not call it one thing, yarn for the yenas or something cliche for
I'll
Twitter.
take the idea to the drawing book.
No.
And I'll let you know my thoughts.
See, the thing is that my ideas, they're few and far in between. Do you get? But once they come and you execute, it's usually like, wow, who came up with this,
okay.
Right? I think on this kind of thing, you just have to trust me.
I just have to trust you.
See, let me even tell you what will make you trust me. I have 4 brothers. So I grew up with 4 brothers. So I know, the kind of things that, I don't know what goes on in their mind, but I know what will fit them. Do you get? So coming from me, a subject matter expert, do you get?
I don't know about that, but
okay.
I'll take your word for it.
Okay. That was just my 5-minute pitch of like where I see Estivaux men
going.
2025 Caribana now. All of them.
Crochet shorts.
Crochet. And it's not just shorts, not the one that is reaching their knee.
The really tight
need
ones.
To end at their, this is a PG podcast, so I don't really want to mention, but like it needs to end at an ungodly place. Do you get? And it needs to be firm. And you can decide to make it a 2-piece.
A 2-piece set.
Because the guys, all of a sudden now men want to be naked. So we need to
give them the opportunity
give them the tools.
I'm not sure if I'm going to be the one to do that though.
No. I mean, if anybody's listening in and they want to, I think they should come to me.
They can come to, I would customize it for them. I might.
You know what?
We'll see.
Maybe I should get one for my partner.
Maybe you should.
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
Maybe he'll be the model. Maybe. He doesn't know about this yet, but.
Love that. I can already see it on him.
Right? You see the vision, right? That's what matters. That's honestly what matters. But my rant aside, I think I just find it so fascinating when I see people actually create stuff, handmade stuff. And I realized from this conversation that I actually don't know what goes into creating handmade stuff. Like, I know it looks good, but like months hand making an outfit, girl.
It is what it is. Not all outfits obviously take months, but like it's just like the really tasking ones. But at the end of the day, you have to love what you do to do what you do. Fair. I mean, do you? Well, I do, so sucks if you don't.
Somebody said, oh, if you find the thing you love to do, you never work for it. And somebody else was just like, I've been working like mad and I love what I'm doing. So
you walk tired.
Anyways, honestly, I feel like you've dropped so much insights, especially talking about how you were able to evolve your audience from solely being in Nigeria to maybe Nigeria's diaspora and even
the US market
as well. If you were to speak to Ayanfe 5 years ago or someone like her starting out now who maybe has a couple of other things, maybe they're creating content, maybe they're a student, maybe they just work in 9 to 5, or they just have a bunch of other things they're doing, but they want to pursue, like, they want to create a space for themselves in the crochet industry, because apparently the crochet industry is not the fashion industry. They're separate.
I mean, it's a subsect of,
What would you say to them?
First of all, give them a very big hug, a tight hug.
For the journey ahead, or
the journey behind them, the journey they're going to face, the moments they're in at that time. A very tight hug, pat their back, and whisper in their ears slowly, "You're doing okay. You've got this. Okay? It's going to be fine." That's the first thing.
Okay. I'll probably start crying if I was that person.
I'm trying to like blink, like to make sure the tears don't come out. But honestly, the hug is necessary because I feel like, yeah, it's
a lot.
You just need that reinforcement at first. And then I'll tell them, have conversations with whoever you're trying to serve. Don't just jump into things blindly. I feel like that's one mistake that I've made multiple times with my different launches. I'm creating for creating's sake, but at the end of the day, this is a business, and there's a point where you have to stop creating for creating's sake and start creating to actually last in the business. So have conversations with the people that you want to serve, because in as much as this is your creative outlet, it's a business, you're still trying to make money, you're still trying to stay afloat. So have these conversations, understand their mindset, understand what they're willing to spend money on, what they're willing to dedicate their time to, depending on, whatever kind of business you're doing. But just understand where they're coming from so you can know how to position your brand, even in terms of pricing, in terms of where you're going to be selling. Is it going to be social media? Is it going to be a website? You need to understand where your people are. Even are they on Instagram? Are they on TikTok? Are they on Twitter? So you really need to have those conversations. Send out a survey if you have to. I've seen a lot of people do that in the last couple years, or I don't know. Send out a survey to people that you think are your target. Just really try to get in their head. I literally had someone come to me that was starting a business to help small businesses scale, and they're reaching out to me to have a conversation with a small business owner so they can understand what I need. So those one-on-one conversations, they may seem irrelevant, but the person after the conversation with me said, "Wow, I've learned so much more about what needs to go into my business just by talking to my target audience." So don't neglect those conversations that seem irrelevant. Yeah, that's what I have to say. Then I'll give them another hug.
Because they will need it.
They'll need the hug.
No, something I really like that you said is that, like, a lot of people started creating because it was their creative outlet. But then, like you, it turned into a business before they even realized that it was a business. And so now they have to have that mindset shift. It's not just about collecting money. It's about actually changing your mind to understand that
this is a business.
And if I'm going to thrive, I have to provide value. I have to actually meet the needs of the people that I want to get their money. And so yes, I could get a creative rush from running this business, but that's kind of secondary sometimes. So no, I really love that. Has there been a point where you felt like, this is not it, man? Maybe when you were unraveling for the fifth time.
Honestly, maybe like when I have a pile of orders to complete and I'm like, how am I going to do all of these things and at the time still be a student, still work my jobs, still create content? And I'm just there like, I'm overwhelmed, I'm tired. Why did I choose to do this to myself? But then at the end of the day, having that client satisfaction, it's just it takes all the worry away, it takes all the burden away. I'm happy, I'm satisfied, I'm reminded of why I'm doing this. And also to what you said about like switching the mindset from a creative outlet to a business, is I don't think everyone should fall into the rabbit hole just because you found that unconsciously your creative outlet is now a business. Doesn't mean you have to go down that line. It does not have to be a business. Like, you don't have to monetize everything.
That's true. Hobbies can be hobbies.
If you choose to do it right, and if you don't want to be firm, like be firm with your no, this is not business. So yeah,
that's true. But like I find that like a lot of people, like, they really want to keep it a hobby, but at that point people are already offering them money. And so the money is tempting. We live in Toronto.
Yeah.
Rent is expensive. Like, actually, no, we live in Kitchener.
We actually do live in Kitchener, but we're always in Toronto.
That's true. And so commuting is expensive. So when somebody is offering you money and is telling you this thing you're doing for fun, do it for me for money, it's very tempting.
I mean, it's okay to take the money once in a while.
Taking money here and there, just something light for drinks and here and there. But like, you need to decide within yourself, is this something I want to monetize, or is this something I want
to keep as a hobby? Yeah,
I've had to actually tell that to myself lately, because these days my mind is just going off like, oh, we could also do this, oh, we could do that. And I'm just like, actually, I need to sleep and I need to rest. And like, if everything I do is around work or is around business or money, the level of discipline, that level of discipline being in everything I do is tiring.
It was so draining. And you need to have what they call, is it the third place? So the first place is, I don't know, something that grows. Second place is like work. Then you need to have a third place that is like, so if you monetize the third place, then it becomes the second place. And then where do you go to?
And this my third place is my sleep, because like at least there I can't monetize. Unless somebody wants to pay me to be sleeping.
I mean,
but you never know.
Then you'll be stressing about sleeping,
right? But no, thank you so much. I feel like I have grown a new appreciation for crochet designs, especially not the shabby fast fashion ones. And I think that I've also grown appreciation for multi-hyphenates like you that find themselves in chasing multiple passions and dreams and things really,
at the same time,
everything going full speed at once. A lot of people see that and just this person is just wild, but sometimes that's actually what you're like. I don't want to sound somehow, but sometimes that's actually what you're called to do, in a sense of like, some people are giving that gift or like multiple gifts. And so like, I feel like a lot of times when people are like, oh, I want to just fit into this space, but they have like 3 other things they're doing, they then put pressure on themselves to narrow themselves into a box. But like for you, you've been able to do crochet, do film,
and still navigate everything simultaneously.
Like, all while staying cute.
What can I say?
It's not easy, but no, thank you so much. I really appreciate our conversation today. Where can people find you if they want to order something like what you're wearing?
Okay, you can find me on basically not every social media platform. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok. That's where I'm most active, at Estivaux. So it's ESTIVAUX_. And yeah, just send a DM. You could also go to the website. If you search Estivaux Essence, it'll pop up. You can order straight from there. You can book a consultation if you want to, chat with me about the design. All that good stuff.
But if they order on the website, they will still have to have a consult with you to get their measurements, right?
If you order on the website, you can just choose the generic size 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But if you really want it tailored to you, then I advise booking a consultation. And I have most people book consultations. So yeah.
No, that's great. Because like for the longest time, I didn't fit into those generic things. So like,
it's kind of weird, but that's why I always recommend the consultations, because I teach you how to like measure and then it fits you perfectly.
Oh, I love that. Well, you heard it from her. Order from the website or send her a DM, and we'll make sure to put all the links in the description. But thank you very much for tuning in once again. My name is Nina Barango, and I will see you next Monday. Bye.
Bye.